Okay, today is Sunday the 9th. I know I blew it on the date yesterday. I didn't realize that until after I produced the video. Otherwise, I would have put a disclaimer in for all of those who need disclaiming. Uh, okay, we got the fusing in and interconnected with the switch and the power line. I have added a X-type safety cap across the line here to alleviate any line noises. I know it didn't show it on the schematic, but I don't know why they didn't use them on these. I'm sure there was probably a good reason for it, but I noticed that once in a while I might get a slight hum, and some people have inquired about that slight hum. It's not, you won't notice whenever the radio is on and you're listening to it. You don't hear it. But when you turn the volume down, and it's got a slight little hum to it. So I put these in there just to take care of any contingencies, to calm the line down a little bit. Sometimes there could be a lot of noise on it. You remember 2 summers ago, I had problems with line noise from my own front porch, and I'm a good 40 feet away from there on the other side of the mobile. Okay, so we got that all interconnected. We've got the push button assembly assembled and put back in, and a new paper dust shield on it to protect it from dust and debris. Now what we're going to do is concentrate on getting the dial face and get it back so that we can at least we got the so at least we can do the alignment and check out on it, but not necessarily in that order. New polarized power cord. Here's the guts that came out of it. Quite a few caps in there, and some radios had more. These are the two that I had shown. Look at the bulge in that thing, boy. Talk about belly bulge. And here's this one. This is the 82 ohm. Looks like a capacitor, and it has mica mold on it, but it's a resistor. Looks so, I mean, talk about well, whatever they talk about. Got rid of those, and those other ones are replaced. So now what's on my plate today, other than the let's get these things here back over there out of the way so we can dispense with the stuff. What else I'm going to do today, I'm going to try and get to that cabinet. I've just been putting it off now for so long because of that one side, the speaker side, that has that strange anomaly in it. That's got the veneer cracked in that side. We're going to get these cleaned up and pre-drilled for the fiber optics and get all that crap off of it, get it cleaned up and nice, and contacts nice and done. I've still yet to get the buttons dipped and cleaned up and get the little eyelets cleaned up on that. Here's what I was talking about in the last video. That is a hammer tone gold. I really didn't want to see the hammer tone on it, but it doesn't look too bad. Uh, and it almost resembles the color that it was whenever it was on there. Now, it does not resemble the color of the bezel for the dial bezel, because that looked bronzy. So, but anyway, I kind of, this kind of grew on me pretty well. So I decided to throw the bezel on the darn paint table and get it spritzed with a light misting of this Hammertone Gold. It's a Rust-Oleum product. And it looks good. Now, I haven't cleared them or anything. And I don't think I'm going to clear until, well, I don't think I'm going to clear it unless there is a serious issue with stains or something. It feels, I mean, and it looks really glossy too. I mean, it's got a nice finish. So we're going to wait and see how that all plays out, like they say. And then we're going to take and jump into the cabinet. I still yet to clean up a couple of my knobs and all the push buttons. I do have my homemade volume off-on volume control knobs that I have to drill and tap for a set screw, and to replace the original. Look at that. Every one of these 529s, this is the only knob that comes out like this when I get them. Every one of these particular on-off knobs look like this. Well, maybe not just like that, but I mean they are similar. Here's another one. I mean, look at that. It's like sitting too close to the fire there, buddy. So I made me up 3 new ones for the 3 that I've got to do. I can make all of them, but fortunately for this particular radio, all 3 of those other ones the band selector and the tuning knobs. Now this one here is, there is I don't know, there is something up with that. Generally these are only just cracked and they are salvageable. Don't need to make those. And these here they're, I guess because they're not handled that much. That's the only way I could come up with. Because once you set this, you forget it. And I don't know a lot of people, well, I don't know any people that listen to shortwave. But, I mean, there is a lot of good information out there in shortwave if you speak Spanish or Mexican or whatever the language is, Hispanic, and or Chinese or Japanese. I've heard Japanese on there. So, but there is some good information out there on shortwave if you can bring it in. So that's what's on the table today. So stay tuned. We will be back with more. Okay, We've got the tone buttons punched up, cleaned up there, and the dial panel back in place with the tuning indicator back on it. Fresh new bulbs in the bulbous, and new wiring for the bulbs. We've got the wire connections all done into the thing and the holes drilled, both sides. So now what we're going to work on, I think I was hoping to get to the cabinet today, but I think I'm going to put it off till tomorrow. It's already 2:30 and the cards game is starting, and I want to go in and see if they can't change their luck this year. So what we're gonna do next is get the fiber optic cut and gathered up, clustered together, and installed with some adhesive in place. Here are the holes for the fiber optics on each side for each of the tone sets, and they're going to be pointing right at the filaments on this end. So that'll be next before I go in and break for the game. So see you on the next section. Okay, last thing before I close out the day. There's the fiber optics. There are 2 strands for each paddle switch on for each side. We got them clustered together and wrapped at that point where it crosses through the flange on the dial plate with some shrink tube, and then the tips of it it's not gonna focus for both us. The tips are heated slightly with a little lighter torch and mushroomed, so they're all mushroomed and they kind of flow together, and that way it will help magnify that light from that filament, both sides. And then after they're set in and oriented to point right at the filament of the bulb, I go in there with some of that Go glue, that rubberized stuff, and touch it up on both sides to hold it in place, and give it plenty of time to cure before you go messing with it. And the length for each side is probably a little less than 12 inches or so, might even be about 10 inches or so, and that'll be enough to stick through the bezel when you go to put these back together. After you get the bezel on, get the thing in the cabinet and get it bolted down, and get the lines sticking through the bezel hole for the mount, and you get them put back on, and then you feed the other ends of the strands, 2 each, into the backs of one of these. I have a video on it that I'll link to at the end of this, where I did it on one of the other 529s that I did. So there you be. I'm wrapping it up for the day. It is 3 o'clock. So I'm out of here. Thanks for watching.